Hello, everyone. I am Monkey Ness, and today I am interviewing. I want to say it right. Let me say it right. Uh, Antourenein. Is that it?
That's almost it, but it's okay.
Almost there. I am here with Antourenein. I'll try my best. Antourenein, developer and director of EarthBound Dimensions. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm just being a little bit busy, but today I'm resting.
Great, great. I hope I'm not interrupting that at all.
No, it's fine.
So today we're gonna spend a little bit of time talking about EarthBound Dimensions and some of your other work. So, how were you introduced to EarthBound? Because I know, judging by the website and everything, you really care about this game. You're talking a lot about trying to recreate it as faithfully as possible in any way you can. So, how were you introduced to the Mother series?
I actually played it like 12 years ago, I think. I think this game really made me want to work with game development and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, I really liked the game. I really liked the experience it provided. So I had the instant idea at the time to, oh my god, what if this came out in the Wii? It was around the time Smash Bros. Brawl was about to release, and I was like, oh my god, what if they did it on the Wii?
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. Did you ever see those old screenshot mock-ups somebody made where it was like Mother 3 in the Wind Waker style?
Yeah. I started researching for to see if people had that same idea, and then I found Mother 3,
Mm-hmm.
those Mother 3 screenshots, and
Have you played the other entries in the Mother series?
yeah, I played them all. I played Mother 3 in the original Japanese too.
Oh, yes. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. See, that's how I played it too, and I just had to figure my way out, but I'm sure for you that was much easier speaking Japanese.
yeah. It was okay. I really like the, just on a side note, I really like the localization they did for Earthbound in America. It's the writing style translates just so well. It's really amazing what they did officially.
Did you play Mother 2 for the first time in Japanese, or did you play the American localization?
I played the American localization first. Yeah.
Which way do you prefer?
Well, that's a hard question. The Japanese one is really good. Toy writes really well and has a very distinct style to his writing. I can't really say the American one captured really well the essence of it.
We touched on those Mother 3 mock-ups of in the Wind Waker style, but like what have been like your artistic on a visual level inspirations for Earthbound Dimensions so far aside from Earthbound itself?
I think the biggest inspiration is probably Zelda Breath of the Wild. It goes a little bit in that direction, like the painted environment and self characters. It's a little bit of that mix. It's not entirely like Breath of the Wild, because it's Breath of the Wild is much more elaborated, more painterly than what I did. But I think the main inspiration was probably Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I definitely see that, especially in the way you handle going about like outlines for characters and the specific hues you use for like the grass and such.
Yeah, that was very much inspired by Breath of the Wild, and I found it funny when people were saying Earthbound Breath of the Wild in the Mother Direct, and I thought, oh wow, that was what I was going for.
So on your website, you talk about how this kind of started as a way to just experiment with things like Blender and Godot engine. Do you have any intent at any point of releasing that code to people in any way?
Right now, I have no plans of doing it, but it is in my mind. Maybe I could do it in the future, but it needs to be a lot cleaner than it is right now. It's the same reason I'm not recruiting people for the project, because the technical stuff is changing so much all the time, and I don't really want to waste anybody's time on reworking things, you know.
No, that's very
So
respectful.
it happens a lot. I mean, I have that NAS model, and then I'm programming some system, and then I see a new bone in the rig. So I go to Blender, I add that bone, and I have to set everything up again. And I really don't want to make other people go through that kind of stuff. So I'm not recruiting anybody at this moment. I do intend to once I have the systems in place, you know.
I thought you had one other person on your team. Is this incorrect?
I don't really have anybody in the team. I just have a few friends that help me a lot because they're from the game industry, and I get a lot of hints from them when creating the systems. They know this stuff a lot better than me. I'm actually a beginner. You know, this project is like a huge experiment.
And I
So
really admire that, especially with the scale of this project already.
thank you. The thing is, I'm actually a newbie at Blender and programming. I started like 2 years ago, along with the project. I'm not that experienced. I'm more experienced in the audio and music and sound side of things. I'm learning as I go.
Well, what's been the most difficult part so far of that learning process?
Actually, I'm having a lot of fun learning all this stuff. It probably is the programming. It's too finicky. Anything you do wrong can break the entire project. but I'm starting to get the hang of it, and it's being enough to create my systems. Some are already implemented, some have implemented. I have a functioning shader for the background, which I really like. It's very customizable. I can do really anything the original does with it, and some more. So it's being fun. It's hard work, but it's fun.
Of what you've shown off so far at that Mother Direct a few weeks ago now, you showed off a bunch of Onett. Sorry, I know some people get up in arms about that. You showed a bunch of you showed a bunch of Onett and some things like the rudimentary battle system with Starman Jr. and such. What have you done in terms of things like outside of basic like movement options? Have you done anything in terms of like objectives mapping or like cutscenes like that?
So the intention is to have a few more cutscenes, expressive cutscenes like that part of like right before Magicant. I did that as a bit of an example of what I want to go for. So I think I'll put that in the intro of the game too, a little bit of an extra before the meteor crashes. Like, he doesn't have any melodies yet. It's just the music playing it's like dreamy and blurry. And when he wakes up, it's just the harmony, no melodies.
There's a lot of thought you put into this, like artistically.
Yeah.
And sort of how you're like constructing and blocking the scenes, even not just from like a visual, but like an oral standpoint.
Yeah. The thing is, I just wanted to show the general idea of cutscenes in this game. They're to be a bit expressive and a bit more of what I imagine it could be, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's my vision. I'm not claiming to be something definitive or anything.
I mean, what you seem to be offering with your version seems like, regardless of, you know, whether it's the definitive version of Earthbound or not, it is going to inevitably offer a lot to people, whether they've played it or not. And that's why I think you have such a large appeal to people who have already played it.
Yeah, I'm really happy people are liking what I'm going for. It's been a bit of a dream to make this entire product that can be shown at once with a video, and I can put my audio, my music, my modeling, my animation, my programming, everything in one place. And people are liking it, which is honestly it makes me feel really good.
You deserve it. You've shown off some really impressive stuff so far.
Thank you so much.
At the time of that Mother Direct trailer, how many like man hours would you say you've put into like working on the game in totality by that point?
That's such a hard thing to gauge. I usually work on it in my free time, so I don't control it very well. I have my job, and then usually late at night and on weekends I work on it, very leisurely.
Keep your fun fun.
Yeah, it's another thing that makes it fun. It's that jumping around areas. Like I if I don't want to model 3D right now, I can do some programming, or if I don't want to do it, I can do some music or some sound design. There's a lot to do, and it makes everything fresh and interesting to me.
So in terms of like working on stuff like that in the different areas, like what's your process? Do you use like concept art or anything, or do you just kind of like feel it out as you're going?
I have very little concept art. I just create as I imagine at the time, and then go adjust it later. So as for the progress, I have a little bit of the battle system working. It's just lacking a lot of animations right now. I'm gonna work on that in the next like 6 months. But the math part I think is mostly working. I just have to move the elements and make it look nicer. The HUD itself is just in concept stage. I didn't even show it that much in the trailer because it's very far from final. The battle system, the battle UI has a theme to it. I made it to have like a pachinko theme. You can see even the pachinko balls exploding out of the character when they take damage. That's and since there's that drum roll system, they call it doramroru here. I don't remember the name in English. It's the slot system, or something like this.
Yeah, more or less. Pachinko people understand.
It's a little bit of that slot thing, so I put some pachinko balls as a thematic thing.
Yeah,
I
kind
think
of
it
like
worked.
you have like a casino kind of motif going on in some aspects.
Yeah. I think it's a nice touch.
It's very nice. It looks great, but are you concerned at all about the choice to like, obviously inherently you were going to have to model the enemies, but did you have any apprehensions about doing character animations and stuff? Do you think that's a danger to progress at all?
I'm actually having a lot of fun animating characters. I'm no professional animator, mind you. I'm just kind of doing it for fun. If I release the demo and I have the system ready and I can recruit people, maybe some help with animation would be nice. But for now, I'm actually just having fun with it, and if it can get better, I'm gonna try to make it better as much as I can. It might be a lot of work, it probably is, but I'm getting very used to it right now. Like the rigging process, the animation process. I've been doing it a lot, so I'm getting used to it.
I assume that kind of goes the same for like the choice to model the items, because in the trailer we saw that the hamburgers modeled. Are you planning on modeling all the items, or is it a matter of it depends on what it is?
My plan is to model all the items. These models don't take too long to make. I created that burger really fast, like in 1 hour or something. I do intend to model even equipment and the items you get too.
Any intents on showing like sort of aesthetics to equipables? Like if you put on a certain sort of hat, it's shown on the character, or is that is that a step too far?
Oh, well, you actually got me. I had the intention of doing that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
It's okay. I actually do have the intention to do that. I even created a separate bone for the head and stuff.
Oh,
so that I can just change it at will in the
modeling terms are
engine.
funny.
Yeah, it's a bone is
The hat bone.
it's a head bone. It's really weird, but it's that.
I
Just nest
yep.
full of bones. No? I don't want to
Oh.
make that Undertale joke, but
It's too easy. It's too easy. Something else that caught my eye in that trailer, speaking of the hamburger and everything, is the diner, the burger shop right next to that trash can. I noticed right away that you adjusted the mapping a little bit, and this caught my attention because on the website you have an earlier version of that specific strip of Onett, and it's laid out like the original game. What led to the idea to make a small change like that?
it's mostly because of the perspective in which you see things. If you go down from the hill from Ness's house, you would just be seeing a building from behind, and you wouldn't be seeing it very clearly what it was. So I changed the orientation to be in the street, so you can go down and you see right away what it is.
That makes a lot of sense, especially for Onett, which is the first town in the game, because when you have it like kind of extended or positioned the way you have it, for one thing, obviously it makes more sense in 3D, but also it kind of almost has that like sort of welcoming gesture, like arm gesture to it. It kind of like pipelines you into the town.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm changing the orientation of some houses to make them like face the street. You know, these are things that don't really work in 2D because you can't see the door, so you can't enter a house in which you don't see the door. So in 3D, if you face the street, you can see the door very clearly. The little differences in orientation I'm doing are just because of that.
Just one more question about the models of items a second ago that I forgot to ask was, do you have any intentions of taking any design cues from the other games like Mother 3 for certain items? For example, like the pencil eraser has an official sprite in Mother 3. While in EarthBound, you could obviously draw your own inspirations for what you would imagine it looked like. What are your intentions for things like that, which are which are less quantifiable in terms of like what we know?
That's a really interesting question. I'm actually looking for a lot of the original concepts. You posted a video recently with some really interesting illustrations. I really liked them. I don't know if they're official. Are they?
So I believe it's official. It's from a magazine scan from a video game magazine from the 90s, but I don't know. I have no idea about their actual like officialness status because I'm not sure if they're like concepts for the clay models or if they're illustrations of the clay models, because a lot of them seem to be that. Is that where you're taking design cues from, like the clay models, or are you kind of meshing a bunch of things together? Because the Nest model kind of resembles that. It kind of looks like a hybrid between the clay model and the Super Smash Brothers model.
Yeah, that's exactly what what I'm going for. Actually, I'm mixing a little bit of the clay models, a little bit of Smash Bros, and a little bit of what I can come up with. Like the latest model I created for that NPC guy, it has no clay models to go off of. I had to create it from scratch, but I'm using a style that's very resemblant of Smash Brothers. If there is a clay model, I'll reference it. If there's not, I'm gonna be a little bit creative about it. It's very liberal, very very experimental.
Yeah, no, what you've shown off so far looks great. I love like you said, the most recent NPC I was looking at on Twitter just a little bit before this actually. How long does it take to model something like that? Because you said the hamburger, like that's an hour of work, and it's a relatively simple shape. Then you have to texture it. But what's the work that goes into something like that, where you kind of have to build it from the ground up, even from like sort of an anatomical and sort of geometrical perspective?
So now that I have the NAS model, I just kind of create the shapes based on his height and it's much easier when you have a model to reference from. You can put him there and then what will be the height of this character, so you just compare the heights and
Mm-hmm.
that makes things easier. I don't know if you have
Yeah.
seen it before, but I posted on Twitter how the character first looks before I do anything, but I can send
I
you
must have missed
if you
that.
want to see.
Please do.
I'm gonna send it here. It just look like this. It looks like this.
Yes.
This is
I'll be sure to
the
put that on the video.
this is the base thing I used to create. I used to create that NPC.
Did you ever
And then
play
it
those old Newgrounds Flash games of like interactive buddy and stuff?
yeah yeah.
It looks just like that.
In the same day it was looking like this. After a few hours, like it was looking like this.
Yeah, that's a huge step in less than a day. Goodness.
This part of creating the bases goes really fast. What takes a lot of time is probably retopology, rigging, and texturing. That takes a lot more time.
Aside from the 3D element of the game and gameplay and everything, do you have any intentions of making other adjustments in terms of from a gameplay perspective? Like, are you intending on adjusting things like inventory space or something like that?
Yeah, so the inventory space thing, I think Mother Squared is already doing a good job with it, and the thing I intended to do was kind of imitate that, because they put the key items in another place, and then
Mm-hmm.
the
And the condiments.
the condiments and consumables are something separate. I really like what they did, and I think I'm gonna do something very similar.
People are
And
gonna love that.
yeah, it's just a little bit of quality of life. I have the intention of putting some extra overworld elements. Like, I mean, I had that idea for a while, but then Mother Encore showed that trailer, and it was very much what I wanted to do.
Oh, like puzzles?
Not, I'm not sure if puzzles exactly, but you can use some actions in the world. I'm not sure about puzzles just yet, but I would really like to have some actions outside of the battle.
Mm-hmm. Do you mean like, are you like referring to possibly, I don't know, say using Ness's bat in order to get a first strike on an enemy, saying like that?
Yeah, exactly. That's in my mind. I'm not sure how I'm going to implement this yet. I'm still kind of documenting it, but I thought of something like this.
So, in terms of creating maps and stuff, we've seen a lot of Onett stuff. Have you started work on any areas like Tucson or Summers or anything like that, or are you sticking to Onett until it's completed?
I'm only doing on it for now. I'm gonna need to model a few more of the interiors, but since I'm trying to release that demo by the end of the year, I'm not doing any other cities right now. The intention with that demo is to play until the sun rising on it. It's very short.
Yeah, no, and that's still ample playtime for people, as well as, I mean, while we're on the topic of the demo, have you done anything with BuzzBuzz yet?
No, I haven't.
I'm just curious of what model you might go with, because there's plenty of hilarious official art of BuzzBuzz, as well as so many directions you could take it just in your imagination.
He's depicted as a beetle, right?
Yeah, and he has, sometimes it's a beetle with like giant, goofy cartoon eyes.
Yeah, this is gonna be a hard one. I'm gonna have to be a bit creative with him to fit him the style. But I'm gonna try to come up with something eventually. That's how experimental I am.
Yeah, you know, it's a leisure project. I understand that. What are you looking forward to most to create, just in general, whether it be something regarding modeling, music, etc. Is there anything in the game specifically you're really looking forward to working on?
I'm really looking forward to winters. I can't wait to try and make that snowy atmosphere, you know.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the monkey.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
How optimistic are you of like your progress over time? Like, do you think are you optimistic that this will be completed at some point, or have you considered like I don't know releasing it in like parts or something?
Yeah, my intention is to release it in like little chapters. Because if I release everything at once, it would probably take so much time. So like I could release the entire Onett thing one day. Yeah, I could make one city at a time and just go with that. But I don't intend to keep this doing this myself forever, you know. I really want a team in the long term.
Mhm.
Just for now I'm doing the groundwork, and I prefer not to waste anybody's time.
So it's a matter of kind of getting the initial elements of how the engine works and stuff like that in place before you bring other people aboard.
Yeah.
Are you apprehensive at all about possibly being confronted by Nintendo or saying? I know Mother fan games seem to have a good track record of not really being shut down or GCMA'd, or I'm screwing that up, like some other fan projects have. But has that crossed your mind at all?
Yeah, that's the elephant in the room. I have to look at all the time. So I talked a little bit about this in the frequently asked questions. So since I haven't seen too much of the lawsuits or anything against a Mother project, I thought it was pretty safe. But if they contact me and ask me to stop, I'm just gonna have to do it. And there's a thing that people seem to forget about projects like this. It's a lot about the learning experience. Even if the project does get cease and desist, the learning aspect of everything was really valuable, and I can use it to create as base for personal projects and everything. And I'm definitely going to use this as base for my personal project.
That's a very good outlook to have.
I don't have much control over this. I know it is technically possible, and I won't fight against it if it happens. Since I'm not seeing any kind of action like this against motherfriend games, and since Itoy seems to really like like fan works, I'm not so sure it's gonna happen. But if it happens, oh well, I'm gonna have to accept it.
We did just have a Mother Direct after all for the third year now.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you feel at this past Mother Direct? Almost, I don't want to pat you on the back too hard, but like stealing the show. Really, people were just so ecstatic to see your work. It was just kind of considered to be one of the major highlights of it, right up there with Mother Encore and Mother Squared and such. How did that make you feel?
Um, I'm really happy you think I stole the show, because there were just so many great projects in there. I really want to play Mother Encore.
Is that the one you'd say you're looking forward to most?
I think so, but I like a lot of the indies too. The Shattered Earth that had such an amazing music. I mean that's so much. There's so much going on in that direct. So I really liked how people, as I said before, people were saying EarthBound Breath of the Wild, and I was really happy to read it. and people like the dynamic of the trailer and stuff. I'm really happy people are liking it, and I got a lot of subscribers on YouTube too, a lot of views, and actually kind of overwhelmed by it.
Did you put the trailer together yourself?
Yeah.
You did a very good job on it. It looks great.
Really, thanks so much. As I said before, it's like an amalgamation of all the work I can do together. It's like a big portfolio for my studio, if you can call that. It's just me for now. I'm really thankful to everyone who's liking the project, who's following it. It really means a lot to me.
So we know you like Earthbound and Mother. What other games are you into? What do you find yourself playing aside from games along those lines?
I play a lot of Smash Bros.
Who's your main?
Zelda. I really like playing Zelda and Lucario. I play some NES too, but he's not my main. As strange as that sounds.
Yeah, take a break somewhere. You'll end up feeling like you're working while you're playing.
I like a lot of 3D action games like Okami.
I definitely see that influence. Thick outlines and such. Okami is wonderful.
Yeah, I really love that too. I like some visual novels too. I like reading. I like those stories. I like a little bit of everything, I'd say.
You're a connoisseur of the arts. I respect that.
A little bit. I really like observing what other developers do, and so that inspires me a lot. I really like to see how they create things, how they develop their ideas, and just observing it really well makes a lot of difference. And seeing them work is very inspiring, and then seeing the games using those types of techniques they use is interesting. I like to play many things and see what they're doing.
Yeah, all great artists do, right? You know, it's about taking what you love and making it into something new that other people can love.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Before we wrap up, is there anything you would like to share or say about your other works or the project you're working on right now?
I actually have two personal projects. I mentioned one before, but I have two. One of them is a bit more on the mother-like side of things, but 3D. So the systems I'm creating for EarthBound Dimensions are definitely going to be reused for this. And there is another one I'm creating with a friend that's not very much mother-like. I'd say it's a bit more on the Hollow Knight thing. It's 2D. It's not 3D at all. So and the vibe of it's probably a bit on the Hollow Knight side of things. It's not a full-fledged Metroidvania, but it has its elements. But they are a bit too early. Like I don't really want to show them that much because my friend is the one doing all the art direction for this one, and the story too. She's writing the story and doing the art direction and the assets and everything, and she still wants to fix a lot of things before showing to everybody. So I'm not showing it too much now. I'll probably have something soon.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me and letting me into your process a bit. I'm really looking forward to what you do in the future. What you've done so far looks very promising.
Oh, thank you as well for letting me ramble about my project a little bit. I'm really thankful for inviting me to this. It's a pleasure.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. You can check out the links in the description to visit his different pages and follow his projects. Have a good one, everybody.
All right, bye.